You're listening to Bitch Said What with Cooper and Sabrina, a podcast by thirsty bitches for thirsty bitches.
In today's episode, we talk about giving jewelry as a gift, our adventures on Tinder, a documentary about Taylor Swift, and boys slide into Sabrina's DMs.
So stick around to hear our unfounded opinions that we live our life by. Hi.
Hello, how's it going?
Going good. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling my best. I'm 30, flirty, and thriving. Just,
Love that.
On my A game.
Yeah, we love to be 30, flirty, and thriving.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not 30, but I just feel like I'm in...
No.
Shocker.
He's 57.
I'm just catfishing all the youngins. I just feel like 30, flirting, and thriving is just kind of like a mental space because, I love that 13 going on 30 movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of you got your shit together, have your ideal life. Everything's going the way you want it. And that's how I feel right now. Mm-hmm. So it's just I'm 30, flirty, and thriving.
Because that thriving is there for you. Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting. It's good to be thriving. Why do you feel like you're thriving?
It just seems like a lot of things are going well for me. Not to brag, but I've been working on my other podcast, as I mentioned recently, because I want to start a podcast about Madison, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And I did my first interview with a homeless shelter director. Well, technically it's a homeless services director, but that's a mouthful. And then I've also, the mayor confirmed, so I'm interviewing the mayor next week. So it's just that's working. And then I can't think of anything else, but it seems like there's other stuff too that I'm just missing.
You're registered for classes again.
Oh yeah, I'm registered for classes.
Not to break your own news, but something that's thriving. I feel like registering for classes has definitely decreased my stress level just because I'm not as worried about next year because it all went the way I wanted it to. So,
well, I can go into the classes. Did you want to share how you're doing, or?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I had a pretty okay week last week. So we're recording this on a Monday. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
That's good.
Have a little bit of a boy insanity to discuss, but we'll talk about that later. But
okay.
Otherwise, life is pretty okay. Which is crazy.
Yeah, I love that.
They're not quite thriving, but pretty secure.
Okay. That's a good spot to be.
For sure.
Okay. Well, speaking of boy drama, so a couple weeks ago, we talked about Tinder, and it seemed, I think we both kind of expressed the idea that hey, how many matches are we missing and stuff like that. So I was just wanting to kind of experiment. So I was interested in kind of how many people am I turning down? And also, I just was kind of curious about how many guys swipe right on me. So I did a little experiment. So you can swipe right on 100 people a day if you don't have a premium subscription. Okay. So I swiped right on 100 guys, and I was counting how many matches I got, and I got 38 matches, which is interesting because that's low for a woman because I guess women have about 50% match rate.
Oh, okay.
It's higher than a straight guy who has a 10% match rate, but I guess gay guys kind of average around 30. So it's just
okay,
standard stuff. But it was interesting.
So a little higher than a normal gay man, slightly above average, right? Because you said it's a 30% success rate, and you had 38.
I think it was 38, but that 30% I quoted with the gay guys, that could be 35. I don't know. That was a while ago.
Mm-hmm. There could be some deviation there, yeah.
But then, right after I did this, I'm just hey, I just want to a fresh start on Tinder because there's all these matches, and I don't have time to message all these guys, and I've had probably hundreds of matches that I haven't thoroughly pursued.
Yeah.
So I reset my Tinder, and I'm only doing a couple matches at a time right now. So I'm being really careful with my swiping game. I can't just sit there swiping when I'm bored. It's kind of okay, we're going to do this one at a time. We're vetting these guys. They're signing up to be for a government job. We're going through their social. We're going into their background. We're learning their favorite foods,
Oh, wow. I am stressed for you about resetting Tinder because I've done that a handful of times, and every time it does help because it like refreshes things. But then I'll also like see people who I matched with and like nothing happened, or like we kind of talked and then be like, why didn't it go further? And then I'll be like, oh shoot, now I remember why I didn't go further, like as soon as we match or what have you. Yeah, right now I have a reset Tinder. Like I reset it recently and I don't have too many matches. Like I've at one point like had like almost 1,000 matches just like kind of sitting there of anything, and now it's down to less. I've like paid for Tinder before. I don't know if like that's like a scandalous thing to say or what, but like to be able to like see the people that have all like accepted you and then you go through that. I have a friend who would do that. She paid for like whatever she needed to be able to see, so she wasn't wasting her time and she would just go through the guys who like matched her.
Huh. See, I feel like I'd be scared to do that because I'd be like worried that like the guys that like all swiped right on me, like I thought they were ugly, which then would mean like I'm uglier than I think I am.
No. I've also done it to like, this is a little crazy, but I saw somebody who I knew and I wanted to see if they had swiped right on me, but I did not in any way want to swipe right on them because I did not want them to get that notification. I 100% did not want that match, but I wanted to know if they had swiped right on me. So I paid.
She needed to know.
Yes, I did. So I paid, found out they swiped on me, had a mental breakdown, and then, yeah.
Wonderful.
You're like, wow, Sabrina had a mental breakdown.
Predictable and relatable. Like I had something similar the other day, and I texted you about it. Like, so I like every day you get like the secret admirers thing. On my old Tinder, like I stopped like getting those whenever I would like pick my secret admirer because you get like 4 free ones. You pick one and then like it reveals the profile. Like it would just be like, oh, you can like pay or something. I'm just like, so I think I ran out of secret admirer somehow. But on my new account, I picked one and it turned out it was like an ex. It was a guy that like broke my heart, my poor little gay baby heart in like high school. And it was just like, so I knew he swiped right because he was a secret admirer, which I don't know what that means, secret admirer versus like just like a like.
It's the same thing as a like. It's just them trying to convince you to pay for gold to unlock to be able to see all your matches.
Gotcha. Anyways, so I debated whether to swipe right on him. I did. And I haven't messaged him and he hasn't messaged me. So that's where it is right now.
That power play. So on that note, my crazy boy stuff, like the insanity. Over the last 2 weeks, we talked about it in last episode, but I don't think we ever actually got to it because we went on such like a deterrent. But like this guy from my past had, like Snapchatted me and like we were talking tangent. Yeah, that's not what I said. This tangent. So the guy had like messaged me after like we first started talking 3 years ago. Then we stopped talking. He got in a relationship, told me he'd gotten into a relationship. The relationship ended recently and he just messaged me again. And so that was like the first guy or one of the first guys. And then over the last 2 weeks, I have had 10 plus men slide back into my DMs or check in on me or be like, hey, what's going on? And on Saturday, the worst of the worst appeared. Not actually the worst of the worst, but it was this guy who we went on like a date and a half. Like we went on a real date and then we also like had like a hangout date. And I actually really liked him. Like we got along really well and there was a lot there. And we had gone on a date. So I was like, oh, this is like going somewhere. And then like I get weird. And it didn't, because he was like, well, I don't want anything serious right now. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, now that you've said that. And then he would kind of like float in and out for like the 6 months after that. And then COVID hit. And I was like, yeah, no. But he randomly texted me Saturday night. And I was like, how and why? And we'll talk about it when we talk about astrology later. But like the stars do not align for this to happen. Like sometimes the stars will be like, you'll see reconnections from your past. But with Venus and Aries right now, like everything's about new. Like there isn't a lot of old. It's like very much about like new stuff and new energy and like it and like chaotic energy and like quick energy and things like that. And I'm like, this is chaotic, but it's just insane. There was this other guy who basically ghosted me, and then he now added me on Instagram and was like messaging me on Instagram to talk to me. And yeah, and then there's a handful of others that have like swiped up, or like this one guy, like we had ghosted each other, and he texted me, and I was like, what is going on? And then like kept texting me like 3 nights in a row. It's like, so
he wants it.
Yeah, and then a handful of others that like do not matter, but it's just like, bro, we haven't talked in like over a year. What are you doing? Type thing, you know?
That's so weird that you've had 10 guys from your past like all just like bop back in, just like nothing happened.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, a few of them, maybe 4 or 5 of them are guys that like I was interested in, or that like I actually like as people or whatever capacity. And the other ones are like totally irrelevant. So the first time I like thought about it, I was like, there's been 5 guys. And then I looked at it a bit more and I was like, no, it's been a lot more.
That's so crazy. And like, it's funny that you said like this isn't astrology related, because I'm like, that was like where my mind went. I'm just like, what's up with the stars? Like, they're just like,
yeah.
Sabrina, it's time to double check your math here.
It's not there. But the thing is like, none of them are like, Sabrina, I made a mistake. They're like, hey, Sabrina, winky face. And I'm just like, I'm no longer interested in a winky face from you. Please stop. Do not enter.
That's so flattering, though.
It is. It is really sweet. And that's the chaoticness of my Leo sun, to be honest. That's like, I'm so honored. Of course, they're sliding back in, you know?
I feel like you never feel better than just like having like a million guys just like orbiting you. It's just like, yes, I am the sun and all of you orbit around me.
Right? It's like, I feel like a JoJo Siwa song, always coming back like a boomerang, because these men, they just can't stay away.
They can't stay away. See, like, there's like a Christina Aguilera song. It's kind of like Halloweeny. It's like, my heart is a haunted house or whatever. And I just like that, like, one of the lines is like, once you're in, you're not getting out. I just feel like that's like, once you fall for me, like, it's over for you.
Right. There.
Although I don't think that's true. It's just like a fun mood to kind of like kid yourself to think that. It's just like, yeah, such a catch.
Right. I mean, I am a catch, and those boys lost out however long ago, and now they're trying again. And I'm like, And I like entertain it because I love the attention, but like in reality, I'm just like, I do not care about you.
Yeah.
Savage.
So I had like a guy on Tinder this week that I was talking to, and I thought it was going well. We were chit-chatting away, and then he asked me what I did, and I'm like, oh, I'm a student at UW, and that just like, he hasn't responded since.
That's so rude.
And it's like, that's on my fucking profile. I tell you that I'm a student at UW studying economics and mathematics. Like, it's not something I keep a secret. If you can read, it's there. And then it's just like, I know he was like, here, I can pull up his age. So he was like, he's 27. So like, he's many years out of college. So like, I understand that like, maybe you're not interested in like talking to or dating like a guy that's still in college, but it's just like, it wasn't advertised.
Yeah. I don't really experience that, nor do I understand it. I think I've dated guys who are like older and students, and they kind of can have like a chip on their shoulder about it. But I don't know. It's like such like a maybe it's because like I'm still a student and I'm like above the standard age of an undergrad. But it's just like, it doesn't make sense to me to like care at all if someone's in school, or like, especially when you're like just getting to know them. Like maybe it's like a bigger conversation, like as you get to know each other and you figure out like your dynamics or like all of that. But to just like not respond when someone's like, oh, I'm a student, it's like, that's kind of rude.
Well, do you think I maybe like misunderstood that? Should I like message him again?
No. I mean, you could. Sometimes
It was the guy I sent you like a screenshot of, like Mr. Jawline. So it's like, he likes making wine. That's like his passion in life. My passion in life is drinking wine.
Yeah.
So like right there,
soulmates.
We're a match made in heaven.
Sometimes also like people will see something and then like just forget to respond, and then it feels awkward to respond, or like they try to see it and they can't. Tinder, like messaging on Tinder is really bad with that kind of thing in my experience. So a lot of times I'm also not afraid to do a double text. Some people are. I am not that person. So it's really just about what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess like I'm leaning towards not doing that because like I kind of already did do a double text. So it's just like, because I sent the message saying like I went to UW, and then like an hour later I said like what I studied. So like there's already like two messages from me like an hour apart. So I just like, do I want to send another one and kind of be like a third? I feel like that might look desperate, which I'm not.
No.
And you don't want to give these guys any hint that you care too much because, you know, person who cares the most is always the one who gets hurt.
Truth. I think that's the thing about me sometimes with guys is it's not that I care. It's just that like I there's a level of like don't care. So it's like I don't care how you. All right, Siri, thanks for your opinion.
Your Apple Watch has something to say about this topic.
Yeah, he doesn't understand, but like mood. Where was I going? Oh, it's like I don't care if it like freaks them out that I double text or that like I'm active about being interested. Because like if that freaks them out, then like that's just not what they're looking for with me, and I'm like, that's fine. Just like let me know, because I'll give you the energy that you want if you tell me what you want.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Yeah, so I'm not really afraid of men knowing if I care, because at the end of the day, it's just like, I never care as much as they think I do.
Sabrina's not playing the game.
I don't, and people think I play games, and then like the moments where my heart has been like hurt, or when I have genuinely cared and it's backfired, it's still like their fault. Like they're the ones who aren't like being honest with me, or like, well, I don't want to, like they're doing everything they can think of to like not hurt my feelings instead of just like being honest with me, or like being honest with themselves. So they'll just like do this or that, and they'll be like, well, no, like I do care about you. And I'm like, so you care about me, and like we're doing this stuff, so like that's what this means. And they're like, no, that's not what that means. And I'm like, then why are we doing the stuff? Why are we doing the stuff then if you don't want, you know what I mean? And the stuff can be anything.
That's tricky. It's like, what do you mean they're like trying not to hurt your feelings, but like you don't like what they're doing?
So like, this last guy who I was seeing, who gave me the computer screen, talked about him before. He like controlled the dynamic of our relationship in a sense of, he was like, I'm going to be celibate for a little bit. And I was like, okay. Directly affects me as a girl he was like seeing or what have you. And then he was like, and I'm not really like dating. And I'm like, okay, so like, what am I? And he's like, well, I still want to hang out with you. So I'm like, so we're still hanging out, but like, you're not dating and we're not having sex. But yeah, like, we'll still make out and you'll still like do things for me as if I'm your girlfriend without giving me that title. And then even now, like on reflection of like our relationship, like he says we broke up. And like, so I was just, it's like that thing of like, okay, so we lay these terms, you say we're not dating, but then you act as if we're in a relationship. And there are things that you give that make it seem like we're headed in that direction. But in reality, like, we're not. And instead of, quotes, being the bad guy and being like, you know, I don't think we should spend time together because we are not, like, this isn't gonna go anywhere that's gonna like be beneficial to either of us. And I was very straight up with him. I was like, I am spending time with you for a relationship, and like the thing that I believe is between us is romantic and is going to be growing in that fashion. So it's like, if you don't think that, then we should stop.
Yeah.
And then this other guy who was sleeping with me, but was like, yeah, I don't really see myself in a relationship with you. But then was like sleeping with me and doing like, and like using me and like girlfriend ways, or like doing like using like my friend aspect and sleeping with me, only to then like just completely sideline me as even a friend and just like stop everything. So it's like, well, actually we were actually just fuck buddies, but nobody wants to actually say that. And it's like, no, we are friends. Yeah. But like, yeah. And that was just messy on all the different levels, and that was mostly him. Because it's never me.
Yeah, that does sound messy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot. Like, so many thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Because it's men wanting to eat, to like have their cake and eat it too. So they're like, well, Sabrina, I like you as a person, so I want you as my friend. And like, I like you in my life and the perspective you give me and like your support. But like, it's not going to be a relationship. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then they'll be like, but I do want this from you. Or like, well, I have an open hole in my life that you can fill. So like you can slide in there, but then like I will eventually tell you like it's never going to happen. And then I'm just supposed to be like cool with that. And then I'm like, why? But because like my boundary.
It's really annoying that like, it's like, why are you keeping me in this position that's like, or why we keep developing something that's like not going to happen? It's just like, you knew I wanted a relationship. So like, why are you just like stringing me along doing these like relationship like things?
Exactly. And that's the thing with the computer guy, was that like my boundaries were very clear, that like I was doing all of this and like sticking around for like him to sort out whatever he was feeling romantically, to like help him through that, for us to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And he would do things that like reciprocated the idea of a relationship, and it'd be part of the conversations we were having. But then it just like wasn't. And I was like, okay, if we're not going there, then like I need to take us like, then this needs to like, and then it slowly just really became like a strained, awkward friendship. And then I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I got a computer out of it though, so you know.
That's good, you know, milk it for all it's worth.
Right.
Did you get a computer or just like the monitor?
Sorry, not a computer.
Yeah, gotta fact check that.
Yeah, computer monitor.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. So on a completely unrelated topic, so last week we talked about Taylor Swift, and then I was scrolling through Netflix and I saw Miss Americana, which is like her documentary that she did, and it took place like over several years, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
She records like prior to her like Reputation album, but it covers like basically her whole first part of her career. It's like, so it's really cool, like as a non-Swiftie, to kind of like learn all this stuff that happened. Like I didn't know about like the Kanye West stuff, or like that DJ who like sexually assaulted her.
So
it's just like, wow.
Yeah. I really love about the documentary is that it shows Taylor's like power in her position and like what she does as an artist, like for her art and for her image. Like she is at the head of the table as they're talking about things. She's the one who's like pushing here or there and is really kind of making the decisions for her career. And I think that's really powerful, especially like with how she's like built up to where she is and everything. And I like that the documentary shows that. And then, the conversation with the DJ, like about the DJ, happened at such like a critical time because that trial was occurring right as like the Me Too movement started, and like the Harvey Weinstein stuff kind of got released and everything. And it was like this really big conversation, and like the DJ sued her for like defamation and like getting him fired, and then she's like countersuing for $1 because she's like, it's not about the money. I have money. I don't want his money, but like what he did was wrong, and we need to like prove that. And I really love that.
Yeah, that's a really just kind of like, I just want to beat your ass at this. And
exactly. Yeah. Well, and it's her just being like, I deserve justice. Like, you do not reserve the right to take advantage of me as like, you know, a young girl in a skirt at a interview or as like a woman with like money and like a position of public like eyes. So like a really big deal. And then
it's also like a really interesting case because she talks about like how hard it was. And that's like despite the fact that there was 6 witnesses and like a photograph, like visual evidence of him capturing him doing it. And yet it was a really hard case to win. So it's just like talks about it, like how I want to say like rigged the system is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's yeah. I mean, yeah. I have no more input other than yeah. Like it is a really interesting case and a really interesting sentiment, and it's something that like a normal person wouldn't have the like access, I think, to like countersue or like have or even have him get fired anyway, which even then like she wasn't looking to get him fired. She was just like filing a complaint to make the like radio network like aware, and then the company was like, we have past complaints, like, and that's why he got fired because he wouldn't stop doing it. So it's like taking that stand, and Taylor's really good at that, and that's one of the things I enjoy about her as like a human is a lot of what she does isn't inherently about her getting something. It's about the after effects of her doing that. So her standing up to like Apple Music and Spotify when they weren't paying small streamers and saying like, or small artists, she's like, I'm not going to be on here then. Like Apple Music, when it first opened, they weren't going to pay artists during the like trial period. And Taylor was like, absolutely not. Like, you do not get my music. You do not get my name. And she was really vocal against that because she made it very clear that it wasn't about her. It was about the small artists who need that money to survive and need that money to grow and to gain and things like that. And she's written it in like her contract at Universal when she transferred over that artists get to keep the masters of their music. Like no new artists at Universal are going to be in a position that she's currently in of like having to re-record or like have lost control of their music, because she's saying that she's not allowing that, and she's one of the most powerful women in music, and the companies have to listen to her.
Yeah, that's like really, it's really good to see someone like using their platform and their power and their leverage and their voice to raise issues that they care about. Like in the documentary, they show her going through and like kind of making the decision to like speak out for like the 2018 primary in Tennessee.
Yep.
And like that was a big issue with like her team because up until that point she's been kind of apolitical. At that point she kind of like decided like, hey, no, I can't like sit on the sidelines anymore, and that I'm not going to allow this or not say anything like with this woman running. So yeah, it's really cool to see her do that.
Yeah. And it also talks about like why she didn't do anything during the 2016 election, which genuinely it's hard, right? Because I'm like, I love Taylor, so I'm biased, but like they do show like that she was like afraid to say anything about anything during that time. So it's like to have people yelling at, like to have everyone angry at her already, and then her like making a stand, like she wasn't in a place in 2016 where like where she felt secure in making a public statement, which I thought was kind of like an interesting thing to look at. And then her in 2018 being like, I do not care anymore. Like I have to say something. And that's her taking that power back. And also because it was Tennessee, and it does have to do with like country music and just what happened with the Dixie Chicks and happened so frequently with country singers who do come out as progressive or liberal or what have you. And just that needing to like be more vocal and everything was really good. And complicated.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm really glad I watched that. Like, it was very cool. Like, I say, like, if you haven't watched it, it's just as good as like the Lady Gaga documentary, which I also was a huge fan of.
That one is really good. Yeah, Miss Americana is really good.
Are you ready to talk about the stars and really dive into it?
Ooh, okay, time for Fuck the Stars. All right, so for Cooper today, we see good return on investment. So you're getting a lot back from what you've put out recently. You are going to be a health guru even more. It says you are likely to opt in for healthy foods, which we already knew you were a health fitness guru. So
I can guarantee today that I've eaten several handfuls of Sour Patch Kids.
Health.
And M&Ms. So
Healthy.
Yeah, that's so true.
So healthy. And then, this is kind of exciting. It looks like a chance to travel will come and materialize for you. So that's exciting. We love travel.
Oh, okay. We love travel.
And speaking of love, it looks like we're going to see some romantic involvement coming up to be about that time for you.
Perfect. You know, spring is in the air and I'm ready for romance.
Your lucky color is maroon, and
okay.
You need to watch out for Aries. We are towards the end of Aries season. Tomorrow's the last day, so gotta be careful of those Aries.
I'll keep out a watchful eye.
Big watch.
What do the stars say about you?
Nothing good. I'm like, is there anything fun here? There's nothing fun here. It says that I'll see good health, but like, well, that could be good. Tomorrow I'm getting a pelvic ultrasound to just kind of like check up on things for my checkup. So we'll see good health there. Don't again know what bad health would be there, but good health is nice. I might have like an opportunity, right? It tells me that I shouldn't try to travel with people, so I will not be going on a trip with you. And that finances will be good, which I guess is a nice thing because it's towards the end of the month. So, you know, counting down the days for
Sabrina,
rent.
Those plane tickets were non-refundable.
Oh, shoot. Well, guess we're going to have to go to Bermuda anyway.
I try to remember what some of those like gay places that all the gays go.
Puerto Vallarta?
Yeah, Puerto Vallarta. Yeah, era.
Ibiza?
Yeah, I see all the gays on Instagram going there.
Ooh, for my love, it says a fun-filled evening is in store. I could only pray.
I wonder what that means.
Right? Ooh, I wonder what could happen. I doubt it.
I know I was watching The Devils Wear Prada before this podcast, so I know what I'm doing for the rest of my evening.
Woohoo!
I'm doing my Miranda Priestley impression.
Woohoo! I have 2 lectures I have to watch, so I'm going to do that tonight.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Like, you are going to have so much fun.
Fun-filled love evening in stored with my model logic.
I'm so jealous, but I'm also just like so happy for you that you get to do that. I want to just like live vicariously through that. What is your color?
My color is forest green.
Wasn't your color like last week forest green?
It's a color that looks good on me, you know?
And a sus.
Sus? I don't know what to tell you. It is the horoscope of today on this website. Really doing me wonders.
Well, are you ready to answer some of the internet's burning questions?
Oh, yes. All those burning, fucked up questions. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Dumbass questions for us to answer in dumbass ways. Hey. Did you see? Okay, so I think I sent this to Cooper. They are getting rid of Yahoo Answers. So, like, RIP Yahoo Answers, which we haven't been using for like a month because it sucks. But rest in pieces.
Yeah, like the questions on there were honestly kind of problematic. So it's not like the worst thing, but it is kind of like such a part of the internet's history just gone.
Yeah. Like the amount of crazy questions I saw on there. Well, it'll just never get better, you know?
Here, Sabrina, I have one that's right up your alley. How do I tell my roommate who thinks we're best friends that I want to live alone next year without her getting mad?
Well, get into a fight about other things and then be like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so sorry. And then just stop talking until you move up.
Perfect. We got the tried and tested recipe from the master herself.
Exactly.
Next.
Ooh. My ex-boyfriend has moved on, but I haven't, and I feel like I never will.
Well, I think I've already expressed this opinion of mine on this podcast, but it's a firm one of mine, so I might as well say it again. I think the best way to get over a relationship is through pure anger. I think that hating the guts of your ex is the quickest and most surefire way to get over any relationship. So I would just say, fuck you for moving on before me. Like, you were a piece of shit and you're lucky to date me, and I hope you die in hell. It works wonders every time.
Hate that bitch. Hate that man. Fair.
Hate him so much.
I agree. When in doubt, hate.
Well, are you ready to wrap this up?
Let's wrap it up, baby. Time to use protection.
Always use protection.
Always. If you enjoyed this episode and want to help keep Bitch Said What going, consider joining our Patreon. You can join through the link in the show notes. We would also like to thank our patrons, David, Aaron, and John. Your support means the world to us.
If you want to share your own hot takes on today's topic, or just say hi to Sabrina and me, connect with us on social media. Our handles are also posted in the show notes.
If you just loved what you heard today, consider giving Bitch Said What a rating or review. We would love to hear your feedback and ratings to help the podcast grow. And honey, we love a grower.
Until next time, stay thirsty.